Greetings, this is Frosty Thundertrod, Telnar Beastmaster of the Sundered Guard. And we're back here in Ashes of Creation Alpha 2. This is the production server. Wednesday there was a PTR test which I participated in. Turnout for the PTR was really low, which is kinda to be expected, I guess, at this point, since the only patch note they released was that mining pylons would now become tradable. So that didn't exactly excite many people to come and participate. I asked in the PTR Discord channel what the focus of the test was, and Vicnar just said it's some back-end testing. Now, back-end testing is extremely important to the development of any software, games included, but it's also completely invisible to the player. And as Richie kind of pointed out, I would typically think that that could have easily been done on the production server. So that makes me think that there was something planned for the PTR that just was not ready to go to the PTR. And that was the reason for why it was so... Oh, I'm in trouble now. I can fight a rock, not so much a level 15 one-star bear at level 9. He should leash here pretty quickly. Alright, he's leashed. So I gotta harvest some of the snowdrop here for a commission. So since I was in the PTR with nothing really to do, I went ahead and took my auto boost tokens, which I used, to level myself up to level 25. And then I started running around. I went up north to the invisible wall separating the anvils from the current game world, so that I could look into the anvils. Couldn't actually enter them, but I could look into them. And I can see why they're called the anvils, because the terrain is a bunch of grassy plateaus, which makes sense, because anvils, kind of rise up on the sides and are flat on the top, so yeah, I get it. It looks pretty cool. I think I might actually move myself up there once the anvils become available. Well, I don't dislike the Riverlands. I've been in the Riverlands ever since the start of Alpha 2, so I'm ready to see some different territory. I'm not too particularly fond of the jungle or the desert. But the anvils look nice. Now, one of the things I did notice, while the weapons aren't in there, there's some weapon skills in the PTR. There was spear skill, two-handed hammer skill, two-handed axe skill, and then one-handed sword slashing and one-handed sword piercing. I believe the current sword skill we have now is one-handed sword piercing. In addition, I was using, instead of my usual energy spellbook, I was using a steel energy wand with a iron energy focus, which I kind of liked that combination on my ranger. It attacked really quick, and that also gave me the option, if I wanted to, I could do a wand and shield along with a one-handed weapon and shield. Here in phase 2.5, I've been using these two-handed daggers, and or double daggers, I should say, and I've gotta say, I've been pretty unimpressed with them overall. Beyond the point, I don't like when dual wielding is, a so-called dual weapon, where you have one weapon that's actually just rendered as two daggers in your hand, but it's really only one weapon. Don't really care for that solution. If I'm going to double wield, I want to be able to wield two different weapons entirely. Like a sword and a dagger, for the more traditional duelist build that, traits that actually has roots in the real world with the Renaissance Italian duelists. But I think I would choose a mace and a sword. Because swords are great for cutting through enemies that have light armor or no armor. And maces are great for dealing with enemies that are heavily armored. Stuff that the sword can't cut through, a mace can bend up and create openings for the sword. Supposedly, Steven said at some point that the Summoner will make it to PTR here next month, which we're not that far away from July. So hopefully this actually does happen at some point. Yes. I've harvested all of my snowballs. Let's see if I have something else. Arms of arborist, western lark. Wolves or bears. Giant spiders, minotaurs. Alright, I need some daffodils still. So I'll track that one. There should be some daffodils over this way. Yeah, my ranger's just not as strong solo as my warrior was, because my warrior could fight these minotaurs here at this level. My ranger can't. I think I'll need probably 2 more levels before I can fight those minotaurs. Let's give this warrior a try. I might be able to pull the warrior. Come on. Got him. That was close. But this is the weakest of the minotaurs. And ironically, I finished him off with my daggers. Have a seat and eat some rations. Yeah, just 9 more of those and I'll complete this quest. So I'm not going to bother with that, I don't think. It would help if I could get... I only have 3 pieces of armor on. So if I had a full set of armor, or close to a full set of armor, that would probably help my combat ability. Grim. And these things are 2 levels higher than me, so I don't want to try taking them on. There are some daffodils over there I can go pick. But anyway, so this whole thing was to talk about the PTR test. And it was a very unexciting test, but I found some stuff that's foreshadowing greater things to come. I guess it is normal that in any project there comes a point when you just hit a wall and it takes some time to get through it. I'm guessing the wall they're really struggling with is the dynamic server gridding. Because this is something that many, many, many MMOs have tried, and the only ones that kind of pulled it off was Eve, and their solution is actually quite a bit different than the one that Intrepid's trying to use. So while I hate to say it, we may just be sitting here in phase 2.5 until, dynamic gridding gets to a workable state where they can actually push it to a server and not have the server constantly crashing. Thank you very much for watching.